Yes, I win. Hey man, it could be nice. 715-209. Adam's doing a lightning stream, which just means that he's probably not going to stream for long. Maybe 2 to 3 hours. There will only be the morning stream. The goal is to keep working on the 10th and final adventure, the Spirit Caller. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I don't normally stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't normally stream every day of the week, but I guess we're trying that this week. I'm not going to do Saturday and Sunday. Thought you were taking a break to not burn out. So I've got the new tenet. There is sustainability still as the first tenet, but the new one is don't waste the opportunity. And I was thinking about this around Next Fest. There's a certain amount that you could say, like, let's say you can do 100 work units per whatever month. And the top priorities, or I guess like your backlog is 50,000 work units. So are you picking the top 100 every month? Probably not, right? Like probably you're working on something for fun. Probably there's just something that popped up now that you worked on, or you're not even putting in the normal 100 that you put in. That's sort of what I was thinking about when it came to am I wasting the opportunity? Like if truly we have a marketing problem, and I'm not 100% sure that we are, but I think we are in that state, that I should be working on marketing stuff, right? So I think we are in a case right now where the top priorities are both market and work toward launch. And I want to use that time while I have the energy. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Anyway, so yeah, today I think we're just going to do the Spirit Caller stuff during the stream. We have, what, 7 abilities left? Where are they? Yeah, 7 abilities left. So if we can get done with 2 or 3 even, that would be great. And some of these should be pretty easy. In fact, maybe all of them are easy. Maybe we just do them all today. We're probably not doing that. All right, let's start with Improved Snake Spirit. So this one says improves the damaging spirit. We wanted a max level that was a little deeper for all of these than the other ones. So level 1, we could change what the power scaling is on this. We've got damage numbers that show in Summon Spirit itself. And we need to write this down, and we need to change this. IRL stream, door-to-door wishlist asked. Can you imagine if that's what was successful? Like everything I've been doing is just wrong, and I need to just walk from home to home to home. It's like each home somehow gets me 5 wish lists. Improved Snake Spirit. Update the tooltip on Summon Spirits. Well, hello, Katzo. So my cat's routine is normally she eats her food, and then she sits in my wife's lap for like an hour. But my wife went to work early. So now you're in my lap, cat. Just right. Hey, 20 hours later. What time zone am I in? Pacific time. I'm in the Seattle-ish area. This cat is so wonderful. Could work in a college dorm. Could probably work in a college dorm. I think if you went door to door for anything, you'll probably get a lot of people who just don't even answer their door. And then some people would just look at you weird. Like, you want me to do what? Wishlist a game? You're not here to talk to me about buying a vacuum cleaner? All right, so how much damage should this increase it by? I guess it doesn't really matter. But I guess it's going to be kind of similar to... Doesn't the mushroom have something like this? So let's start this up. Fortunately, there was a huge forest fire there and ruined all my hiking plans. Oh, that's too bad. The hiking here is really great. Hello, adults. Are your children home? No, that's okay. I just want to talk to them about gaming. I want to bond with them over skeletons. Nothing nefarious here, officers. All right, so what makes them do more damage? This, I think we should show the damage numbers, and we apparently don't do that there. Do I do this anywhere? I think I might do it in Boulder. Yeah, Boulder does it. Okay, I thought so. Door to door. I actually did think of a really good marketing idea yesterday that I don't think I can share on stream, and I'll probably never do anyway. Maybe after this game flops because I didn't do it, I can share what it was. But now all you'll know is the tantalizing information that I had a great idea. And doesn't that make you feel good? All right, power scaling. Oh, did I? Whoops. Man, I'm not paying attention already. There we go. Makes me feel great. So how's Wednesday and Thursday going for you, Kavino? Are you like getting the jitters right now that you're not streaming? They're making YouTube videos? Hey, noob. Was Minecraft not just your idea? We need marketing craft. The people you're marketing to are just blocks, and you gotta hack them down with a pickaxe. Well, that's not that's not how I wanted this to sound. All right. So we want this. And this is the snake spirit, but the snake spirit doesn't have its own corresponding passive ability. And it almost makes me wonder if these two things should have been combined and snake spirit should have been a default spirit. Huh. Okay, I'll write that down. Although maybe we should just do this now. My body and brain is going crazy. We'll start on my stream. Context switching is rough. It is actually very difficult because you get in the habit of doing something and you know what productivity looks like for that day. And YouTube is very fuzzy because you don't just make one video or two videos and then, oh, there's 1,000 subscribers. It's like you get in the habit of making those videos and then you very slowly get subscribers and hopefully the acceleration of that curve ramps up. But if it doesn't, then you'd have linear growth of, 10 subscribers per video or something, which is not that helpful. Hey, Pretzel. Hey, Campbell Soup. Truly spoiled. Okay, so let's think about this. What if we combined summoned spirits and ethereal spirits and then made a separate passive, or I guess a passive for snake spirit? That way all of the info could be in one spot. Yeah, we didn't plan this. He doesn't even know what to type right now. So the thinking here is we have summon spirits and it says what the snake spirit will do. Because I guess this is technically like summon a snake spirit. I don't know. I think this is kind of fine. Does it really matter? It's either the text goes here or here. We don't even probably need to change any code. We just need to change the tooltip. Like this one could say, oh no, but that's why this is helpful because then we could write this in green. Then snake spirit, is that what it's called? Or is it called summon snake spirit? Yeah. Then snake spirit could be written in green to refer to the correct skill. I think I like that better. Oh, then we need to redo everything. Not everything. It's not going to take that long. Yeah. Okay. This cat is so nice and warm. I was freezing this morning. All right, so what are we renaming this to then? We have summon spirits, and then this will be renamed to snake spirit. And that's it? That's all we're changing? So ethereal spirits gets renamed. So rename ethereal spirits to snake spirit. Ability ID. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what I've done so far. Pretty much nothing. Okay, fine. Let's rename this. Snake spirit. Ethereal spirits gets renamed as well to snake spirit. This gets put here. Snake spirit. Oh, I renamed it. I was like, how is that possible? All right, snake spirit. So now this goes somewhere else. This goes over here. Summons any spirits you have unlocked, snake spirit name, at the beginning of battle, and then delete that and get rid of everything else. All right, then put this here. String snake spirit name. It should know what I want to do here. Good. And then it should know what I want to do here too. No. I mean, we need the no color eventually, but for right now, I wanted to just type that out. Okay, so snake spirit will bite a single target, blah, blah, blah. This one says your spirits cannot be targeted unless you die, and your spirits have 10% life, blah, blah. Okay, great. Your spirits have 10% of your life, but they cannot be targeted until you die. There, that's exactly what I want. So we put this here. We get the note color. We're going to get this working. We are gonna. Then get this. So I do actually have a lot to do today. And I find these days the most daunting because I look at my to-do list and there were the things for Skeleseller. So you've pretty much seen all of those things. But then there's all the real life stuff. And we have an obligation at 6 p.m. today. So it's like, okay, there's a limit on that stuff that I can do. And then whenever I have more than probably like 3 items on the list, it just becomes a little overwhelming. Like, you just have to spend all of your free time doing stuff. Whereas if your 2 items are like, go through, make abilities, and whatever, take out the trash or something, it's like, oh, okay, 2 things, that's doable. All right. So I don't want this here. And this is going to go over here. Summons a snake spirit that will bite a single target for this much damage every so often. Yeah. And then all the damage information now needs to be moved over. It says unused. This is just because I didn't do this. Bite damage isn't needed. Bite cooldown isn't needed. We don't need the no color. Percent health of summoner is needed over here. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Not too shabby. I think this is going to be much better in terms of player experience. Spirit snake bite get base damage. So we just need this. This should probably be moved somewhere else. It could go either way, I guess. Snake spirit bite. Yeah, go either way. Let's write this down. Consider moving spirit snake bite parameters. No, I don't. I should just consider it now. Should we move it? I don't think so. I think having this stuff in here is important. So I think we'll leave it there. Okay, now let's try running this, which won't work. We need to fix this stuff first. All right, so let's just return hi. Hello. This cat. So I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I play the finals. The finals is a first-person shooter. It's pretty much impossible to play a first-person shooter and not have your mouse hand going crazy at some time. And the cat just like perches her head on my hand anyway and does not care about the movement and tries to sleep the whole time. And it just cracks me up because I would expect her to get frustrated and leave after some amount of time. Duplicate ability ID snake spirit. How am I using that in 2 spots? Summon spirits? No, that's not it. Snake spirit has an ability ID. That's correct. Oh, ethereal spirit shouldn't exist. That's why we delete this stuff. I just forgot to do that. Good cat. Hired the spirit caller. Okay, so what do these look like? Summoned any spirits you have unlocked. Snake spirit, fairy spirit, dog spirit, and cat spirit at the beginning of battle. Your spirits have 10% of your health, but they cannot be targeted until you die. That sounds good. Snake spirit summons a snake spirit that will bite a single target for 8 damage every 1.7 seconds. And increases a It should probably say random spirits power by 20%. Power spirit. This isn't super important. Oh, oh my god. Okay, this is adorable. Let me take a picture of this. Wait, I'm trying not to disturb her. Okay, let me share this. Okay, here she is on my lap right this second. The little face is upside down. Okay. Kitty, she's so nice. So warm. Okay, good. I am very glad I did this actually, because I think this is going to make it much clearer for players what's going on here. This can be checked on its own. I guess clarify, empower, spirit is random. So this is turn ethereal spirits into summon snake spirit. Yeah. Okay, so what do we want here? We want this one. There's one file we don't want here. This, we got to start this up and run this stupid thing. Hey, Darshan. Welcome in. Sorry if I missed your message, and I did. That was 15 minutes ago. My bad. I don't know if you're still there, but hello? I do tend to miss YouTube messages, as evidenced by me being 15 minutes late to that one. So if you chat on Twitch, I will much more likely see it. But watching on YouTube is probably a better experience for you. This didn't actually create snakespirit.uid, .cs.uid. Let's go try to create this. 15-minute response time is still pretty respectable. Well, I mean, they're the only person who's typed something in chat. So it just looks like I ignored them. That's not my intention. Hey, Darkstorm, how you doing? All right, so check in this and this. We don't want that one yet. We do want this. Shouldn't have any issues. Yep. Summon spirit should now refer. That's gone. Should now refer to snake spirit. Yeah. So does the word ethereal exist in the code base at all anymore? No. That was deleted code. Replace ethereal spirits. It was a passive ability that just said that your spirits can't be targeted until you die. So I consolidated it into summon spirits so that the eventual improved snake spirit can refer to a base skill, which is now called snake spirit. I think this will be clearer for players. Yeah. Also, this will give us like a snake icon for that, which I think is pretty nice. Didn't know there's also the entry fee. Oh, for your game? Yeah, if you make $1,000, you get that entry fee back. I think that entry fee is probably twofold. I think one, it's supposed to decrease the amount of shovelware on Steam, and two, it is supposed to probably pay for any sort of support you need going through the process. So, for example, what was I gonna say? Any reviews they need to do. So $100 kind of pays for that. And then, like I said, when you get $1,000, they give you the 100 back. But because there's a 30% fee, that means that they made 300 anyway. So essentially, on your first $1,000, they make 200. On your next $1,000 and any other number of thousands after that, they make 300. So they're making money regardless. It's mutually beneficial. So I don't think there's a problem with them doing that. I just think it's kind of funny. No, the new partner. Then again for the game. Wait, Steamworks itself has a fee? I thought it was just for listing. No, you shouldn't have 2 fees. Slot for a game. No, yeah. It should be that when you sign up for Steamworks, it costs $100 and then you get a free game to publish at that point. Yeah. You didn't pay $200, right? No, you should only have 1 feat. Okay, so now we can finally code this ability. Okay, so what does it say? Just improves the damage of this thing? And it did so just like this thing did? Except for this had boulder name, which we never even used. Improves the damage dealt by snake spirit name. There we go. Get summon spirits because that has snake spirit name right there. Not just the first one, too far away from publishing. No, what I'm saying is there is no second one. Like, there shouldn't be a second one. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this message, but you said new partner, then again for the game, which to me implies like $100 from this and $100 for this. It shouldn't be that way. It's just this, and that gives you a slot for a game. So be careful, because if you do end up spending more money, I think it's not going to be... I don't know if they refund that, but I don't think it's going to have any purpose. Okay, Snake Spirit. Oh, by the way, another thing to consider is, I know you might be far away from publishing, but you might not be far away from a demo. And you do need to have paid the fee to get a demo onto the store. So it might pay off for you sooner than you think. Okay, so now we need to get the base damage of this thing. This has a function for that. That's pretty easy. Okay, good description. Taking the snake spirit name. Damage values look good. Damage header we need. And that's probably it. Then we just need to change Snake Spirit to do more damage based on what level of this you have. Snake Bite. All right, get base damage is here. This actually is not how this is going to work, because we need to take in... Oh man, how are we going to do this? But the power scaling is going to be variable. It's going to be based on the entity's level of this ability. The only place this is ever called is right here. No, that's not true. It's also called here. All right, how about we just start with the tooltip? Let's look at that. Because that should be fine. Although I think I just typed in some random numbers. And technically level 0 of this thing is 0.8. Which is what should probably come from Snake Spirit Bite. So we're going to need to delete this, I think. Yeah, probably. But still, let's take a look. So this improves the damage dealt by Snake Spirit. Yeah, nice. And the default damage should be 8. So yeah, it goes up to 26 and then 48. I think that's too much. And yet, this one's very difficult to do, because if the Snake Spirit is going to be good, then putting points into this has to make it better immediately. But we can't let it get too overpowered. I guess let's consider it to Quick Strike, because that's the most similar thing to this, except for this thing's attacking randomly. Its cooldown makes it 25% better and then 33% better. So we should at least make these numbers go up by that, except for this attacks... Well, because the power scaling is really low. So if we normalize it, it'd be a 0.5 power value. And if we normalize this, so the rogue is 0.5 and the snake is hang on, how do I do this? Yeah, so 0.8 divided by 1.7. So pretty similar. Yes, good. Okay, so then let's do the same thing that we have here then. We'll make it go up by a bit and then by even more. Maybe like that, and then by even more after that. So 1.3 times 0.35 is 0.45, 1.75 there. Okay, that'll probably be decent. Now we just need to get rid of this one and then fix all the errors that pop up. So get base damage, to probably take in a level as well. Int level, you're gonna return improved snake spirit dot power scaling. Public static, yeah, that looks good. This needs to be pulled in. Man, quick fix does not like working on this for some reason. Level times power, there. All right, so now this thing needs a level. And the level of this is going to be equal to the level of snake spirit, I guess. Int improved snake spirit level is going to be abilities component dot get level. There we go. Put in the level there. The name level does, oh yeah, whoops. All right, and then just do the same thing when we actually do the damage for this. So yeah, get base damage needs to, oh wait, no, I already did that. So wait, shouldn't this just work? Yay. No, I messed up one thing, this. Okay, well, I think we just paste this in there. Level. And get the abilities component. Hey, Blazis, happy Thursday. You know, I gotta say, I think as a viewer of a stream, it's easiest to know if someone has the exact same schedule every single day. That you can count on them being there and then work them into your schedule. Because people say be consistent on Twitch. And consistent just means that you have a schedule. So if it's one time per week for 2 hours, that's consistency if you stick to that. But actually filling out the number of hours, I think, helps probably a little bit more than being consistent does. At least nowadays. All right, so this increases the damage 10, then 13, then 18. And it should modify this too. Yes, and it should also, ideally, modify what happens in the battle. So we should see 10 damage now. No, it's still doing 8. Which means we didn't confer that ability to the snake spirit. Which means we need to do this. This is what's tricky about this sort of thing. Confer to summon true. There, that should fix it. My arch nemesis. Well, again, it all depends on your goals. And the consistency thing really only matters, I think, if your goal is to grow. If you just want to have like a couple of people there the whole time, you can probably do that without the consistency. All right, so 13 damage. Does it actually do 13 damage? Yes. This is great. I'm so glad we coded that system. Let's try again. It should do 10 damage now. Okay, I do this. It should do 8 damage. Yeah, nice. All right, cool. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. The bulk of that work, I feel, came from the commit before that, where I relocated those abilities. So yeah, improved snake spirit is now working. Hey, Jared, are you using a steno keyboard? No, steno keyboards actually have probably fewer keys than this usually, and you would tend to type in syllables. This is a 36 key keyboard where I still type in letters. So every individual thing I type, like if I type whatever quest, I type 5 keys for that. But because I don't have all the keys of a regular keyboard, I thoroughly abuse layers for this. So imagine if you were to type an exclamation mark on your keyboard. You have to type shift and then 1. Um, the shift is like entering a layer. I do that for practically everything. So to type symbols, I have to enter a layer. To type numbers, I have to enter a layer. To type arrow keys, I have to enter a layer. But yeah, hello and welcome in. Okay, that's working. And then this should be working too. Cool. Implement improved snake spirit ability. All right. So this is done. Oh, wait, did I get the tooltip working correctly? I don't even think I looked at that. Where's the damage dealt by snake spirit? No, I did. Okay, good. How is gaming on a keyboard like that? It's pretty bad. I don't like gaming on this keyboard unless it's something very basic. Like let's say there's a game like Baba Is You that really only uses the arrow keys and nothing more. I don't think they use anything more. Maybe enter. Like that's fine. But an FPS would be tough. I'm also on a Colmac layout. So WASD is actually FRST for me. And yes, you can rebind your keys so that WASD is actually FRST or something, but like I don't want to do that. I'd rather just use a regular keyboard. Hey Dustin, saw a video of an 8-key keyboard yesterday, sort of doing the opposite of Stenotype, more key presses for a single letter. Is that the artsy keyboard? This one? Because I always thought this was pretty interesting. This looks like a Tetris diagram or something if you look at this, because this is how you type out letters. So like M is these bottom 3 keys, and C are the bottom right 2 keys, and D is the upper right 3 keys. And this is really, really cool if you have any accessibility issues. Like you can type everything using one hand. I don't know if it's ergonomic for that hand. It doesn't feel like it would be. Like how do you even type this? Are you positioning your finger between the 2 keys and pressing like right on that line? Or are you rotating your hand such that you're putting 2 fingers vertically? Can you achieve a high words per minute? I don't think that's a goal with a keyboard like this, although you'd be surprised. Really, any typing input you can probably get pretty fast at, but at what cost? Either a learning curve or an ergonomics curve. Because, I mean, that's the whole point behind the piano thing that I did, right? Like, I got pretty fast at typing on a piano. It doesn't mean that's a good idea. Thumb and index, maybe, but I'm guessing they have, yeah, something like this. Like, you're probably not going to put your thumb underneath where your pinky is. So you probably do need to rotate your hand a bit. I can imagine that would get uncomfortable. Alternatively, like I said, you could press the line where those keys touch, and if the line is pretty thin, like it is in this diagram, then you're just putting your finger right there, and maybe you can get used to that. Although I imagine that would be pretty difficult. Actually, no, it has to be that, because look, there's a clear thing here. The only way for you to press 8 keys with 5 fingers is to make some fingers press multiple keys. But I guess for that, you could just lay your finger across the line of the keyboard. Kind of funny. If I were ever in a situation where I felt like I needed that keyboard, I'd probably also add foot pedals in. Unless you didn't have, like if you only had the use of one hand and not your feet and not your other hand, I guess. Then yeah, I guess you'd have to do something like that. Although probably you'd have some appendage that you could still use as like a pedal presser. Smash your face down. Hey, Codex. Yeah, mash with the whole hand. Just fist bump your keyboard. Clear. Take a defibrillator. Print annoying warnings in the console for temp stuff. Oh, cool. Oh my god, this cat is seriously just going to try to sleep on my lap for the whole stream. All right, let's try to code the next ability. This one's done. Fairy Spirit is next. Summons a spirit with a heal ability. Okay, so this is going to be pretty similar to Snake Spirit in this case. We don't have any of the data in here. We pull it from other places. And in that case, it is the ability itself is what has it. So we need a fairy heal. So I'm going to save this as fairy heal. We're going to rename this stuff. It's going to break everything. That's fine. More keyboard fist bump. Fairy heal equals 145. All right. Let's delete a bunch of things now. Let's delete this, although this is going to have levels. So the power scaling actually does need to be a list of floats. In that sense, it's pretty similar to the snake bite thing that we had. Where is that? I don't even see that here. I guess it's an improved snake spirit. So I guess I put this all over the place, huh? Yeah. So let me think about this. This is inside the ability, but it affects this the bite thing that gets used. Whereas fairy heal, I guess we put this inside the ability too. Yeah. This would at least be consistent. Now, as far as the numbers, whew, I don't know. I mean, we could just use the same scaling for all of this, but I think that'd be a little bit strange. Now, just like how the snake attacks pretty quickly, I wonder if we should make the fairy heal pretty quickly. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Maybe not so fast, not as fast as the snake, but like that. And I'm just going to leave these numbers as is. It's not going to lead to anything interesting. Now, we should tweak them a little bit. So we just slowed this down, so we should raise all of these numbers. So let's do that. We'll highlight all of these, and we'll multiply all of these by 1.9 divided by 1.7. And now we evaluate all of those, and we get these numbers, which we then math.round. I think we can just type round. Wait, no, but round is gonna round to the nearest integer. I just want to round them to the nearest tenth of a decimal place. So that, and this would be 2, I guess. Okay, that's decent. Now what do we do? This has an icon? This shouldn't have an icon. Nor should snakebite. Does snakebite have an icon? Oh, wait, what? No, what am I talking about? Oh, God, what have I done? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. This is wrong. Yeah, this is wrong. I messed up. I meant to be typing this into fairy spirit. Whoops. Okay, so we delete that and we put this over here. Ability data. Where's the... Oh, we just don't type in an icon. Okay, interesting. Okay, looks good. Base cooldown. Yeah, sure. Let's put this over here. This is supposed to be 1.9. Oh, wait, we already have that there. Ugh, I'm just messing everything up. I think we should leave the Adam art icon in for memes. You know, I'm kind of surprised Slay the Spire has all of the beta artwork in the game, and it's exposed to users. Like when you go to any of the dialogues, you can click show beta artwork, and this is what you'll see, something like that or like this. Like basically unpolished artwork. And some of these are really bad, like this one. This looks like I could almost draw that. Whereas the final artwork, Slay the Spire, Crescendo, I don't remember what this looks like, but I imagine it's much better. Yeah. Like this looks like nice artwork, right? This does not look like nice artwork. Someone playing MS Paint violin. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, you could leave something like that in the game for fun. I don't want to do that, but certainly could. So this is gonna get base healing. And instead of improved snake spirit, it's gonna be fairy spirit. Okay, we're getting there. This is definitely going to take some time. This is always going to serve as the foundation for the other 2 spirits that we add. And if we get done with all of those today, I think that'd be okay. When I say today, I mean in just the lightning stream that I'm doing. Because maybe another hour is all it would take. All right, so what does this say? Fairy spirit summons a fairy spirit that will heal a single ally for heal amount every heal cooldown. All right, so we got to figure out the heal amount and the cooldown. And I guess just copy paste all that here. So the level of this ability. Oh, that's not going to work. That will heal a single ally every so often. Okay, so heal itself has some columns in here. No, it doesn't have columns because this is an innate ability. Okay, so I guess we go to improved snake spirit. Yeah, so this is what I want. All right, we don't need this. Base power, that one's fine. This is going to be healing values per level. Heal values, there it is. Copy this, put this over here. Get base healing is on fairy heal. We need to import that. Wherever I just pulled that from, I want to get what the column header was. Nature's protection. It was called health. Makes sense. Sure. If the AI were faster here, that'd be nice. Like I just put the cursor over here and it fixed that one. So now I put the cursor here and I'd like it to suggest heal values, and it knows it should be doing that, and it just didn't. All right, so description is the cooldown. Heal cooldown format number that. That looks pretty good. And then what's the problem over here? Oh, that I never finished this? Yeah. I guess nature's protection is probably pretty similar to this. How does this work? Nature's protection is not the same. No, what am I talking about? It's going to be similar to Empower Spirit, but it won't get summons. So I guess this is already pretty close to what we want. Set animation. Yeah, we're going to have to do this eventually. Sort ascending. We're not doing that. Well, we need to get the targets that have... I just need targets that are missing life. Yeah. Okay, so possible... I guess let's even delete... No, that's fine, I guess. Possible targets dot remove all ally health component dot... We don't have that. Oh, fine. They can't be dead. I guess get friendly targets to make sure they're not dead. So yeah, this. Percent life missing is less than or equal to 0. So they need to be missing life. Then we can just get a random one. Sample 1. And we can play a sound. I want it to be slightly different. We're going to need... Ugh, we're going to need this for everything, huh? Make a sound effect for fairy heal. And then none of this other stuff matters. Well, this might matter. That means that fairy spirit needs to be conferred to the fairy spirit. Does that even make any sense? I guess so. Wait, how does that make sense? Yeah, I guess it does. All right, so this is going to be fairy spirit level equals get level of ability. And then the healing that we get is going to have to take in the level. We don't need this or this. Yeah. Hey, Maniac, thanks for the raid. How'd the stream go? I am, by the way, I'm petting the cat on my lap. She looks like this right now. Well, she's moved slightly, but it's equally adorable. Hope your stream was good. We are working on abilities over here for the spirit caller. It's going pretty well. And I will test this out in just a second. So this is the description of this. This thing doesn't need to exist, nor does it for snakebite, actually. I think we can just delete it because it never shows up. Have fun working on a Pokedex. Like an actual Pokedex or a Pokedex equivalent for a game that you're making. There are no messages here. I guess I just delete this stuff. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my God. What am I doing? Did I even modify this file? I didn't mean to do any of that. Yeah, my bad. None of that should have changed. I meant to change this stuff. This doesn't have a tooltip, which means we don't need this. Hey, Patrick. More of a learning project. It's a REPL, which interacts with Poke API. Poke API. Access to all the Pokemon data you'll ever need. Wow. I'm surprised there's an API for this and not just like a database you download. But I guess it's because Pokemon stuff changes every once in a while. Man. Pokemon slash Ditto. Pokemon slash Meowth. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's the official API. There's no way there's an official API. This has to be third party. I just refuse to believe Pokemon would have exposed an official API. Created by this as a weekend project. Yeah, this is not official. I was gonna say this is not something Game Freak would do. They apparently haven't made a Pokemon bank or something, but people are like losing data recently. I don't know. I don't really follow this stuff. Is this all working? Anyway, it sounds like a cool thing. And I bet someone's going to want that sort of tool. I'm saying the thing that you're making, although the Poke API also sounds cool. This had a display name for no reason. Does Snakebite do that? It does, and yet there's no real reason for this to be here. I wonder how I feel about this. I guess we might as well put this back in. Yeah, fine. Call this Fairy Heal. And then go get the other imports. It's also a learning thing for REST to develop against a real API. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. And I think it's best to have a project that you're interested in and one that's small enough in scope that you can handle. And I mean, I don't know about Maniac's like scope complexity ability handling or handling ability, but yeah, it kind of goes true for any level of programmer. Like you don't want to do something that's 10 times beyond your skill level or scope. And yeah, it's fun to see those sorts of results, and people could probably readily make use of something like that. Taking a dinner break. Nice, nice, nice. What are you having for dinner? All right, so here we go. It says summons a fairy spirit that will heal a single ally every 1.9 seconds. So 9 health, then 11, then 15, then 20. So the upgrade from level, well, I guess the upgrade, oh, level 0 doesn't actually exist. What am I doing? Oh, that kind of changes things, doesn't it? So I guess we just set this to 0 by default. And you can't have a level 0 ability for this. But we don't have summon spirits actually summoning anything, so we got to do that. Butter chicken and naan. Sounds good. Sounds good indeed. Cat, will you please get off my lap now? Oh, she's so adorable. She's just trying to sleep for as long as she can. All right, so this is the snake spirit. Then we should probably have a summon spirit. This is what we're going to end up doing now, I guess. So the fairy spirit is going to be, I guess it's going to start as null. And then we need to get the level of fairy spirit. And if it's greater than 0, then try to summon this thing. And then we need the spirit fairy thing to exist, which I haven't done yet. Lab cat is best rubber duck. All right, take care, Maniac. Thanks again for the raid. Enjoy your dinner. I got a very decadent meal last night, and I said before this is going to put me into a coma. It was way too much food, and I can't tell if I enjoyed it or not. And I've been getting food from this restaurant before, but they started doing the dish that I used to get. They started doing it poorly. So I was like, okay, I'll give this one more shot and I'll try something totally different. And it was like maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, probably a 6.5 out of 10. Would you go back to a restaurant that's a 6.5 out of 10? And keep in mind, it's walking distance, so that does change the equation a little bit. Because we don't have a lot that's walking distance from us. And actually, I'm trying to think, what's the highest rated restaurant that's close to us? I don't know. I'm talking my ratings, by the way. My end-all be-all ratings for things. There's a 6.5 for flavor, also cost and ease of getting food. So if I were to say ease of getting food, it is a 10 out of 10. I mean, if something is walking distance from you, then that's pretty convenient. The costs are really hard to gauge because they've all been increasing at like every restaurant around here. So like the meal I got yesterday, well, I go through a whole bunch of discounts and stuff. So when all's said and done, it was like an $18 base price times 0.8 for that times 0.95. So I think I paid $14-ish. Plus, I think there's tax. I don't know why there's tax on that. Shouldn't you not pay for food? I guess you pay for tax on cooked meals, not on raw food. Yeah, so cost, I would say that's probably like a 6 out of 10, maybe. And then, yeah, flavor is what I was saying was a 6.5 out of 10. Or taste. Actually, as far as cost goes, I guess that's not bad. Because, yeah, I don't think there's cheap food anymore in the Seattle-ish area. I just don't think it really exists. All right, so now we do this. And we say if fairy spirit is not null, then we do all that stuff. So this is going to be the fairy spirit. We need to refactor this. I'll do that in a bit. All the snake spirit stuff can just be deleted, I guess. All right, so get their stats, set their power and health, and then give them a buff. What is this? Oh, yeah, that's needed. What gives them their ability? Oh, I guess their enemy ID does. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Cost of opportunity. There aren't that many other restaurants that are walking distance, I guess. Come down to a comparison of what's available in the area. If that's the best rating, then I'd go again. I see. So if the best restaurant were like a 3 out of 10 for you, but it's the only restaurant in the area, you'd still go there, even though the food is bad. It costs $100. You get a quarter the amount of food that you want, and it tastes bad. Okay, Cat, I'm sorry. You've got to move. My posture is terrible. I'm sorry, Cat. I'm sorry. Please move. No, don't just reposition yourself. Come on. I'm sorry. I love you. Oh, man. My legs. Depends how desperate I am. I guess there is a low point. I just never eat out if that's the only option. Yeah, there's definitely a case where I would just say I'm not going to that restaurant. I don't like it, even if it's the only one in the area. Now, thankfully, we're not in that case. And also, walking is just one of the sets of restaurants I could access. We do have a car. So, and also, I guess there are delivery services, even if I didn't have a car. So we're never going to have to pick the ones that are closest to us if we don't want to. All right, so it's going to be Spirit Fairy. All enemy data. Gonna replace this. Oh, I called it Spirit Snake Bite and not just Snake Bite. Oh man, that means I need to call this Spirit Fairy Heal. It's not like it's hard to do that. I just need to change this everywhere. Spirit Fairy Heal. Did I do that everywhere? Yeah, and it even has a different ability ID. Okay. Well, stuff to keep in mind for the next one. So this thing should be deleted. And then this shouldn't have any errors in it. Okay, let's try it. Close to us, we only have a Chinese and a Thai restaurant. They're not that great. Comes down to whether we want to pay for delivery or not that day. You know what really helped? I'm not sponsored by DoorDash or anything, nor Costco, but Costco has $100 gift cards for 80. So it's basically 20% off everything you get. So I got pickup yesterday, so it didn't like jack up the prices or anything, but I got 20% off what that should have been, which is what makes it much more palatable to order through those services. All right, so this is now Spirit Fairy Heal, as is this one. I Hang on 1 second. My wife is calling and I think she knows I'm streaming. Hang on a second. Okay. I told her I was streaming. She said she was just calling to check in. So everything's fine. Always have to make sure there's not an emergency. Okay, so we're going to run this and hope that the fairy spirit is working. So if we were to just create an instance right now, we'll just see the snake show up. But if we were to unlock this ability, we'll also see the fairy spirit show up. There it is. And they should be healing, but only when there's something that's taking damage. Wow, yeah. Look at that. Now, I guess, unfortunately, this is working such that they never really need to... They're never taking damage. I wonder if we could just send them to the volcano. How much could they do there? Because, yeah, only the spirit caller takes damage. I don't think they can out-heal 3 bats. No, they definitely can't. This character's dead. But that's the fun of this character. They have so much utility that you could decide how you want to make the class work. We only have these 2 abilities right now. And even with both of them maxed out, it's not going to be enough to make it win. Because they only do 18 damage and they only heal for 20 and then up to 25. But they're taking, what, 57? Yeah. Per cycle. So if they had some logic in here to attack the thing with the lowest health, they actually might be able to win. And if we just threw the rogue into that battle too, then they probably would win. Although again, we're not testing anything here. This is just me trying to have fun with the battle system. So now I think they'll win this battle. Although that's not saying a lot because I think any 2 characters probably... No, that's not true. Not every 2 characters would have won this. Oh, it just broke. Wow, look at that. I'm glad we tested that. Turns out we were testing something. What happened? Value cannot be null in empower spirit. Well, it's trying to empower the rogue. That shouldn't be possible. Possible targets is only these ones. And it's failing on line 31. Wait, it's failing on this line. Oh, because this doesn't necessarily exist. Oh, get or null. Question mark summoner, question mark null. Put all that in parentheses. That should work. Actually, wait, we don't even need the question mark null, do we? Maybe we do. No, I don't think we do. Okay, now we should be able to do that. Okay, that was a pretty critical bug. It just freezes battles. This is why we got to figure out the testing scenarios post-demo. Let's try that again. So we're going to give them all the same abilities we just had. Not that they need them all. It's just Empower Spirit that was failing. We put them into a battle over here with the Rogue. So put that. And it should not fail now. And they should win the fight. Although that part doesn't matter. Yeah. I think they're going to win. Yeah. Definitely. This is so cool. It is so cool seeing this come to life. I really like these new characters that we've added. And we haven't even finished this one. They're like a one-man army when they have all their summons, which they only have 2 so far, and they're supposed to have 2 more. And you could even throw them other ones into a battle. In fact, we could test that out really quickly. Although we don't have the other 2 summons, so I guess it's not really totally accurate. But if we put all 4 of these into a battle, it's going to be like a full party on the left side. Yeah, so we have zombies, we have the snake, we have the fairy. And then we can get more zombies. And you should actually be able to start with 2 other spirits here. Such that you'd probably never actually want this party configuration. But this is what's unique about the spirit caller. So if you don't put points in the fairy spirit, you just don't even get them as an ally. So if I flee this battle and then restart it, like now they only have the snake. So if you were in this party configuration, you could decide to put your points into only 2 of the 4 spirits. Or maybe just 1. I don't know if that'd be good. Probably not. Yeah, you're probably going to pick 2. So yeah, I like the idea. All right, well, I think that's been coded. And I think the tooltip probably looks good because we looked at that, right? Summons a fairy spirit that will heal a single ally every 1.9 seconds. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Nice. This is looking good. Okay, so this is fix a critical bug. Fix critical bug with empower spirit. It was assuming that every entity in a battle would have an is summoned component. So if you had any adventurers in the party with the spirit caller, the battle would stop working after 4 seconds. Pretty bad, but now fixed. So this is just heal. Yeah, just heal. This is the skill. This is something. Oh, right. We never did this. This is not good. We got to fix that. All right. So summon spirits. We should have a generic spirit summoning thing that does all of this. So private void summon spirit node entity. All right. So what does it mean to summon a spirit? We give them untargetable. Let's just copy paste all this. All right. Change that to entity. Remove unused private method. Yeah. So nothing here is specific to a spirit. So we should just be able to call this with a snake spirit and delete all of that. And then do the same thing down here with a fairy spirit. You know, that alone is something I never really thought of, but AI makes that much simpler. Like here, I copied this line and I want to change snake spirit to fairy spirit. And the way I would have done this is I would have gone up here, select this, copy, go down here, delete, and paste. Or select again and paste, I guess. But it just knows that I want to do that, so I just press tab. And I guess I save like 14 keystrokes to do something very mechanical there. That's pretty interesting. I guess you can't really top AI when it comes to doing something like that. Anyway, the rest of this is all pretty straightforward. So now the only question is, can we simplify some of these lines of code? You always get the snake spirit, assuming you have space for them. So what we could do is make a function for this to say like summon if you have the spirit. Yeah, that would work. Backspace F tab with regular. No, it's not just that though. What I'm saying is we had this line here. You would have to have moved the cursor over twice first to be able to do control backspace. So now you're at 4 keystrokes, and then F and then tab are 2 more keystrokes. So that's 6. Whereas if you pasted this here with Snake Spirit, it's literally just tab and enter. Or no, it's not even tab and enter. It's literally just tab. It's 1 keystroke. So that's why I'm saying you can't really top AI in that case, because you can't get any faster than 1 keystroke unless you had 0, which would, I guess, have to be AI also with that case. And also, that's assuming you don't have anything else that starts with F here that then makes you like backspace and fix it. I get this isn't as simple as I'm talking about, because there's also the cognitive load of having to read what the AI is suggesting. So in some cases, that's going to slow you down. All right, so let's do this. The snake spirit is the only one that you summon no matter what. So this is like summon spirit if skill was learned. So what we need to specify is the skill ability. I guess we should call it ability, not skill. And then the corresponding summon ID. Yeah. Hey, Combat, can we ask programming questions? Yeah, sure. All right, so we're just going to copy paste all of this. Nope, I didn't want whatever AI had done right there. All right, so we're going to rename this to Spirit. We're going to rename this to Summon Spirit Ability Level. Oh, we need to take in the entity. Node summoner. We put that there, summoner. Well, we need the battle system too. Okay. Well, battle system, battle system. This gets replaced. Summon ID. This gets replaced. Ability ID. And that's that. What we could do is have this taken null and then just handle. It just does nothing. It's a no op in that case. I don't think that's needed though. All right, so what's nice about this is this lets us replace all of this code with fairy spirit and fairy spirit. Spirit fairy. Oh, why are those backwards? Did I do that for a particular reason? I probably did. Okay. Hey Lloyd, how you doing? See a lot of discussion about using composition and inheritance. Was wondering if you have any heuristics for when to use each. So yeah, I think this is, in my mind, there's no one way to use for everything. In general, the prevailing wisdom is prefer composition over inheritance. So the places where I'd say to use inheritance are for very shallow hierarchies that are well known ahead of time, or for systems that already use inheritance. So for example, Godot. Godot has node, under which is node 2D, under which is sprite 2D, under which is, I don't know, whatever, other things. It's like, hey, this is already using inheritance. So now if you find out you want a character, probably choose the thing you want to inherit from and use that thing. And you can still compose on top of that, because Godot is actually using both in some sense. We have inheritance for this, but then for your scenes, you're composing many different elements together that have this inheritance hierarchy beneath them. And then in general, the sort of golden rule of any of this stuff is prototype and validate. So let's say you're not sure which one to use, like try both out and then see which one is better. And the difficult thing I think here is that you're really trying to predict which will be better as you add code. And that can be a little bit difficult. So yeah, in general, if you know nothing else, I'd say prefer composition over inheritance. It's going to make your life easier down the line, so you don't fit in this rigid structure that you need to follow. And then how do you extract out common behaviors that you want? Whereas if they're components, it should be easier. Doing pretty good. How are you? I'm doing well. Yesterday was like a hyper productive day. Today has been good so far. It hasn't been hyper productive, but I'm also happy with just getting something done, and we have been getting something done. So I am pleased right now. All right, so we can delete all of this code and hopefully it still works. And now what's going to be nice is for future abilities, we can just change this to dog spirit and summon the spirit dog. And then what's the last one? A cat spirit and summon the spirit cat. So that's it. That's the 2 lines we'll end up adding. How hot is it over there? It is not bad. It's about 60 degrees outside right now, which is 60 F2C. It's about 15.5 degrees Celsius. Or yeah, about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Which my ideal temperature is like this at the highest, probably. I really like the 50 to 60 range. I think it's nice. Have you been tempted to use Vim key bindings VS Code? No, not really. I've used Vim before. I like Vim as a text editor. I don't know how it would feel using it in VS Code. And I feel like my efficiency is fine as is. So I've just never really had the desire to learn them for VS Code. Glad you had a great day yesterday and that today's going well. Yeah. Have you been making new music, Lloyd? Judging by the writing, I can tell you're spitting some fat knowledge. Sadly, this ad hit me in the mouth. Oh, yeah. You might want to check out the VOD for that then, because repeating it all and typing it all out would probably be a little bit too much. I don't know if you're still in an ad. Check out the VOD for the advice. Yeah, check it out. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. This is another place that YouTube makes it easier. You just be able to swipe back by 2 minutes. Okay, so this is looking good. I'm pretty happy with this. We need to test this out one more time. This source is going to be Wait a sec. What I call this? Source was the summoner. Oh god, what did I do? Oh man. Source is the summoner, yeah. And entity is that other thing, yeah, Drat. Okay, well then we'll just rename this to summoner, I guess. Which is what we're. Oh wait, we just never had the source. Node summoner. Alright, now we pass that in. We should have one more right here, yeah. Hey again, Darshan. I'm assuming you're the same person as on YouTube. Sorry for missing your message originally, if that is you. Yeah, sorry to disturb you while you're working. I really enjoy coding, but lately I've been struggling to focus and get started, even though I have an idea for a project in mind. I just need to learn a few things as a beginner. What advice would you give me to stay consistent and actually start building it? So I really like this quote. If the problem seems too big, then the first step needs to be smaller. So you said struggling to focus. It could be that it's the coding problem is too daunting. It could be your sort of work hygiene. For this, I'd say try out body doubling. So like call a friend on Discord and you each do your own thing, or like go to a library or whatever, a park or something like that, and see if that environment is better for you for working. So this would be scope the problem down and maybe lean on other people or resources where helpful and I guess available. So let's say there's too complex a problem, like ask someone for help. I mean like a lesson sort of thing or guidance. And in general, try to recognize that you have probably improved since you started working on this project. I think that's another thing that's kind of tough is it's easy to focus on, let's say you have a problem that's going to last you 1 month or maybe even longer. It's going to last a year and you spend a week doing it. It's easy to be like, oh, I have 51 grueling weeks left. And it's much harder to be like, I got done with a week. I did something. I made progress. I think this is kind of similar to this video that I made here. So it's a very different topic, but you might want to check out that video. It was how I felt when I was learning Colmac. And I was super daunted. Always writing new music, sometimes slowly, sometimes not so slowly. Awesome, yeah. I gotta write more frequently. Okay, we're gonna run this again. We're gonna try to get through the other 2 spirits too if we can. And that would leave us with what, 3 abilities left? 1, nope, I couldn't count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it would leave us with 3, which we could get done with tomorrow, or I could do later today even. Okay, so let's start a battle. I have not actually given them any skills, so they start with a snake. The snake does 8 damage. That's all working fine. So now we're going to give them this skill. Then they're going to get the fairy spirit. And the fairy spirit is going to heal for 10, I want to say, but only once they've taken damage. 11, is that right? Yeah, that's right. All right, so now let's put some more points in these things. So now it's going to do 18 and 20. So this will do 18 damage, good, and then this will heal for 20. Good. Cool. Is that a soulful? No, this is a corn keyword. Okay, so a shallow hierarchy would be something like battle inherited by actor and enemy in the context of a turn-based RPG. Well, shallow is just rather than having like base class and then some derived class, and then you keep like tabbing this in further and further and further. This would be just deep inheritance based on how much tabbing you have here to represent the different hierarchies. So shallow would be something like, yeah, maybe you have, I don't know, battler and you have like player and enemy. So this is pretty shallow. You can go another layer deeper. It'd be pretty shallow too. After that, it might get pretty hard for you to figure out like, okay, there's something that could actually change from a player to an enemy. Where do they belong? Maybe that means that your inheritance hierarchy doesn't make sense anymore here. And that maybe probably you're just going to add like a team component and there's just a battler and no inheritance and they get a team of either team player or team enemy. So this is where knowing what you're doing, it's based a little bit on the domain, it's based a little bit on how that might change. And part of the problem with any of this stuff, I think software design gets harder when your product design is not solid. So let's say I had a 100% rock solid design document for you, or a product document, I guess. And I'm like, this will never change. It's not going to be very hard to make that product because you're not going to have to deal with changing requirements in this totally made up hypothetical, right? Games are not that way at all. Games are all about finding the fun, and you might try something, you work on something for 2 months and you realize like, ooh, this is not it. And then you rework the last month and a half of code. So now any design document you had is kind of meaningless. I mean, maybe some of it's the same, but that also means any code design you did might be changing. And that's where I think components are just slightly more flexible too. So yeah, I'd still say prefer composition and see how you can make that work. Yeah, I hope that helps, Darshan. Knowing what you're doing sure does help. And the way you get to knowing what you're doing is typically a combination of time and practice. So you will build this up. And 10 years from now, you'll look back and think, man, those are really basic problems compared to what I'm solving now. Okay, this is looking good. Yeah. Implement fairy spirit ability. Okay, next. Next is the dog spirit. Summons a spirit with the ability to increase the power of allies. All right, let's go do that. Dog spirit. Let's just paste all this stuff in. Place this with dog. This is going to be increased power. So this is going to be power header. And now how do we phrase this? I just really wish I remembered all this stuff. I think the rogue has an ability that does it. Power bonus is what we say. Does everyone use that phrasing? Power bonus? Power bonus? This person using power bonus? Sure seems like we say power bonus a lot. Okay, sure. Let's call this power bonus then. Summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of everybody? I just said increase the power of allies. I'm realizing there's a problem here. The spirit caller's power doesn't matter if it gets buffed during a battle. It would only affect empower spirit anyway, so we probably need to take the spirit caller's power into account for when they buff the power of somebody else. Oh man, let me think about this. This is sort of unrelated to what I was talking about. Power increase percent is just hard coded to be whatever this is, 25%. Yeah, we need this to fluctuate based on the power of the spirit caller. Power spirit. This needs to improve based on the power of the summoner, the spirit caller, or else there won't be any reason to improve the power of the spirit caller mid-battle. Team component is interesting. I guess in that sense, I'm still pretty unsure how best to handle changing behaviors without just deriving a new class. So what some people do for games, at least, is an entity component system. And there are different ways of doing this. But the general theory is an entity is just a bundle of components. And a component is just a bundle of data. And then your systems are the logic that connects these things. And each system typically has a small purview. So maybe for example, it's like entities with a physics component. And this would be your physics system. And what it does is it reads the velocity of something and, I don't know, moves it on the screen. So like your physics system is only concerned with that. And then maybe you have like a damage system. And it's like, it's only concerned with entities that, I don't know, maybe like spikes or something. And if a player is walking on spikes, then it does damage to them. So each one of these has a small preview, and then you can just add components to an entity. So if you're like, okay, this entity has a like does damage component, and its damage is 5, and it has a floaty component, and its friction is I'm just making up numbers and properties, right? So you could just plop some components on an entity and just trust that the systems will make it work the way it should. And then maybe you add in like a player input component or something. In general, I'd say what you probably want to look into are just design patterns. And there's a good book that I like, Game Programming Patterns. This is freely available online right here. And yes, it's about games in particular, but a lot of these are just design patterns, and the person is talking about them in the context of games. But you could also just look at Wikipedia for design patterns. Programming design patterns. I know I typed that wrong. Yeah, I think they have listed, yeah, pretty much all of these. So yeah, there are 4 categories of patterns: creational, structural, behavioral, and concurrency. And if you read through some of these and try to understand, like the pages are pretty good. They've got pseudocode on them. They've got actual code. They try to explain why you might need these. Because the sorts of problems that you run into in whatever program you're writing are not so unique from the sorts of problems that every other coder has run into and their problems that they're solving. And that's where these patterns come into play. All right, so summons a dog spirit, they'll raise a power. We didn't actually talk about how it's raising the power. Should it raise the power of everybody or just of one ally? I don't know, but that is a good question. So should the dog/cat spirits raise the power of just one ally or all of them? I'm leaning toward one since all of the spirits are single target. But then empower spirit is a little bit weird. Also, the power of the dog itself needs to play into the power that it grants. Could this ever like infinitely scale? The dog powers up the spirit color, which then powers up the dog, which then powers up the spirit color. I don't know. Maybe it can. It probably doesn't matter. If it ever does scale that way, then we just do something about it. Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward them powering up one thing. Okay, so summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally every so often. And the every so often can be pretty fast. Is it an up dog? Hey, leave your girl. Hope you're doing well. Also, I think it's good to cut things off your plate. I think you've made a nice mindful decision not to focus on coding for now. Taco Bandit, thanks for the resub. Welcome back, WB. Up dog. Yeah, it's like a Henway. Okay, so I don't want to code this. Yeah, I don't want to code this. Where is heal cooldown? It's pulled from the ability. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. So this is going to be ability cooldown, I guess. Actually, probably should have called it ability cooldown everywhere. Not really well at all, just listening in a bit. No, I get it. I hope things get better for you. And I think it'll take a lot of time. I mean, like you said, the process was estimated to be about a year or something, right? So it's sort of like what I was saying to someone earlier. It's easy to look at how daunting that year feels, but think of how many days have passed so far. And probably each day is like slightly better than the day before. All right, so this is going to work pretty much the same as this. Let's go copy all of this stuff over. And we were storing power scaling in here. This is going to be power bonus. And now we got to figure out what this is supposed to be. I don't know. This is a pretty frequent ability. So like 15%. Then 30% and then 50%. This is like stupidly powerful, isn't it? Yeah. I want to cut these down. I need to see how long this lasts. For duration. Oh, wait. Is the duration for all of these? Okay, how often should this thing use this? Maybe every like 2.5 seconds. It should apply a buff for uh 3 seconds. So the duration can go into this new thing that we had. So it's every 2.5 seconds. And it's pretty much always on for somebody in your party. But this is taking up skill slots. It's potentially powering up an adventurer that's already very powerful. So let's try to keep this a little bit more conservative maybe. And do this. And see where that takes us. Trying to hang in there and get out of stronger. Yeah, best of luck. Best of luck. All right, now this needs to be done. Power bonus. Hey, Typical. How you doing? I saw you in someone else's stream lately. Okay, so this is going to be get power bonus header. Get power header. This is going to be the power bonus. And then we need the duration and the cooldown, and those come from the ability, which we don't have yet. So none of this stuff is needed. So let's go add in all this other stuff. We have spirit dog. I might as well write spirit cat in here, but we're not going to do that yet. All enemy data. We go add in the spirit dog. Spirit dog buff. No, buff is bad. Spirit dog increase power. That's kind of a stupid name. Let's go with that for now. Who and whose channel? I don't remember, but I think I explicitly like tagged you and said, "Hey guys." I don't remember whose channel that was. Maybe whose channels was I in? I was in Cricket's channel. I was in Kavino's channel. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was Kavino's then. It must have been. Okay, so I haven't saved this, have I? Fairy heal. It's gonna be spirit dog increase power. And I guess that means there's an ability ID corresponding to that. Okay, base cooldown we said was going to be 2.5. So that goes here. Spirit dog, increase power. And then the duration, I guess could also go here. Public const float duration. I said would be 3 seconds. So there'd be a little bit of overlap, which is, again, maybe too powerful. Duration, format, number. Nice. Hey, Sarah. Must love. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. Maybe you didn't see it, or maybe you did leave. I think it was pretty shortly after you showed up, so I don't think you probably would have left that fast, but it's not a big deal. Okay, this is looking good, except for this needs to be a P0. All right, now we need to make this thing work. And adding a power buff is not difficult, but we want this power buff to scale with the power of the dog, which is actually probably not that hard now that I think about it. We just get the total power as a percentage of the base power and add that on. Although that could be very risky. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. All right, so we get friendly targets. Should we remove summons from the list? I don't even think we need to do that. Yeah. And then we just sample this. In fact, at this point, this is not how we should do this. We should just do get a random ally. We must have something that does that in the game. Oh, man. Node target equals battle.get I see enemy target. I don't see friendly target. I just see friendly targets. Plural. Huh. Now there's get allies and it. Why are those two things different? Oh, this returns you as well. I should probably write that down, shouldn't I? Find targets sample. We don't ever have it omit the source. Yeah, no, we don't. Okay. So I should write that down for this. Like C cref equals get allies, but returns the entity passed in as well. All right. So all this is doing is first or default on get enemy targets. I guess it's pretty much the same thing as get friendly targets, except for this should not target itself. So we're going to do get allies. So it's going to do this first or default. Perfect. And then if that's null, then don't do anything. Although if that's null, this should be impossible because the spirit caller should be alive. And why is that failing? Oh, because we got to pass in the entity. Yeah. All right, so now we have the target. Now what we want to do is give them more power. So we have a bunch of power buff stuff somewhere. Yeah, we want to do something like this. All right, power buff from percent power. So the increase is going to be based on the level of this thing. Dog spirit level. And then the amount that we'd increase it by, base bonus, is going to be equal to that. So this total bonus is going to equal to base bonus plus dog power bonus. I don't know what to call that. But let's figure that out. So the dog's base power, dog base power is equal to that. And then, oh, you know what we should do? We should just make a function that returns this. Yeah, this is C#. All right, how do we do this? We have get power and we have get base power. I don't see where get power is. Oh, there, it's right there. Okay, sure. So we're going to make static float. So how do we say this? It's going to be like get percent power bonus over base, something like that. Yeah, so base power, modified minus base over base power. Okay, is that correct? Let's try this. So let's say your base power is 100 and your current power is 150. So we're going to do 150 minus 100, which is 50, divided by 100. So we're going to say it's 50%. Yeah, that's good. That's what I want. If base power is less than or equal to math f dot epsilon. Returns the percent increase in power of the base power. E.g., if you have a base power of 100 and a current power of 150, this will return 0.5. Sure. So now that we have that, we need to use this, which this function is what I need for this. Use that. All right, what do we call this? Percent power over base. Percent power over base is going to be equal to that of the entity. Good. Now we add this on. So total bonus is going to be this. All right, is this dangerous at all? So if the dog spirit was buffed by a 50% power boost, then it's going to pass that power boost on in addition to the like 10% it's supposed to get. Maybe we should scale this. I mean, how often is this thing going to have extra power? Like when the mushroom dies, something happens, right? What's that even called? What is that called? I don't know what that's called. Invigorate. That can give you a 40% bonus. So you'll end up doubling that bonus and giving it to somebody else. I think that's a mistake. Yeah, I think we do base bonus times that. So we scale it a little bit. How did Next Fest go? Next Fest was about 100 or 400 more wish lists. Which my conclusion is it was good, like meh to good. There are some people who got thousands of wish lists from it. And I recognize that maybe that might not have happened for me ever in this case, but it did shine a light on that I need more marketing for the game. So I've been reaching out to influencers every day, and my goal is to reach out to 2 influencers per day. And I started that goal on Monday. So far I think I've reached out to 7 total like emails or messages that I've sent, and I've heard back from none of them. And there are no new YouTube videos online. So I must be doing something wrong, or I just haven't reached out to enough people. Part of the reason I started with 2 per day is because I thought, oh, if I'm making a mistake, then I can correct that mistake rather than reaching out to like 30 per day and then running out of people. How many wish lists are we up to? I think like 2,200 or something. It's not a super high number. 23, 21. Yeah, 23, 21. It's been a very slow slog to get a wish list. In fact, I think I can show you this. All history. If you don't look at the little blips here, so this was Idle Fest. This was me being on the front page of Twitch, and this is Next Fest. So if you don't look at those, and you instead look at like the majority of the graph here, you'll see the average is probably like maybe 6 wish lists or something per day, maybe 7 or 8. So like definitely in this range of the graph. I think that's roughly where the average is. And again, that's ignoring the spikes. I know you don't ignore the spikes because they happened. They're wish lists now. But I think we need that to ramp up faster. And I have some ideas, but I'm not great at this stuff. There are also some things I'm just not doing, which I really should be doing, like posting on Reddit. I've just never really done this, and I always feel like it's like violating the subreddit rules to do this. And the thing I've never liked about the Reddit is that if I post X, it's self-promotion. But if you post X, it's totally fine. And it's like trivially easy for me to get someone else to post something for me. So why do they even make you jump through that tiny hoop? Why not just be like, yeah, sure, post whatever you want? It's just strange. Like I could make a fake account and say, oh yeah, I'm not affiliated with this. I just only post about this. I think it's pretty neat. I think it's good. It's not. Let's say we'd been streaming for this long and no one has played the game and no one liked it or no one was sharing it or anything. I think that would represent that there's a problem. But yeah, I look at all the metrics every day and I don't see a major bump in any of them. We are up to, I think, 18 reviews. Yeah, 18 reviews. And when we hit 50, then if we're still at least, I forgot what the number is, maybe like 90%, it'll say very positive instead of positive. Because I don't know how many people know this, but this aggregate, even if it's 100%, it will change based on the number of reviews you have. So at 50, you can start to see very positive. And at 500, you can start to see overwhelmingly positive. And if you've actually bought Steam games before, you typically know that you have pretty high confidence buying a game that says overwhelmingly positive. Like it's not some abandonware sucky game. Like at least 500 people liked it. And it's not even just the at least 500. It's like of the more than 500 that liked it, there weren't that many that disliked it. Shouldn't bother releasing if you don't have at least 50,000 wish lists. Yeah, I've heard something like that before. I think it all depends. Once Steam has your game for sale, as in once you list your game for sale, then they have more of an incentive to push it to other people. Whereas the incentive beforehand would only be if it's accumulating tons and tons of wish lists on its own, probably, knowing that there is some conversion rate for them. So I think launching will help, but probably not a ton, and probably I will just need to keep increasing my marketing efforts. It's only not very positive, even though I'm 100% positive. Yeah, it must not be at 500 reviews. All right, so this is a total bonus. Duration we already have up there is duration. Yeah. We don't need this, and we don't need this. It would be kind of funny if when you use this, it said woof. I kind of want to do that, although I don't think that's great. Loading text. It could say meow when you dodge. How long is that to-do list? The to-do list is pretty long. You have access to it there if you want to take a look at it. Having 100 reviews and all them being positive feels like a miracle to me. Yeah, I think it's a good sign. Also, and I have a theory about this, but I was talking to a friend about this and she disagreed with me. My theory is that if you only have a demo online, you'll be less likely to accrue negative reviews than if you'd launched. But that's my theory. So you have a demo, let's say you have 17 reviews, they're all positive. I think that 18th review being negative is just someone to be like, well, it's only a demo right now. Maybe I'm judging it too harshly. And maybe I won't even leave the review. That's my theory. My friend said it's the internet. People are going to say negative stuff if they feel negatively. I can see both ways. I don't know which one's actually accurate. Actually, you know what? I guess I haven't really seen... Can we look at Steam demos here? How would we find a bad game here? These are the most played ones in this. These are popular. How do we go to... Let's click puzzle. And let's just scroll down a lot. Yeah. I want to click one of these and see if any of them have bad reviews. Most demos just don't even really have reviews. Okay, so man, what is going on? It like deleted all the other things. Show more apparently hid them all. Are these even puzzle games anymore? What happened? Are they? These don't look like puzzle games. I don't even understand. These don't have puzzle in them. I clicked puzzle. All right, something weird happened there. So yeah, let's scroll down a few pages here and then just click a couple of these demos. Okay, it just messes this up. You click show more twice and it just deletes that you were looking for puzzle games. I don't even know how to do what I'm trying to do then. Let's just click this. Does it have bad reviews? No, it has no reviews. Yeah, I think most demos are going to have no reviews. I'd be pretty surprised to see negative ones. How to find a bad game. Well, I'm talking about only demos, so you can't filter by price. I get that you're saying that AAA games are bad, but I actually am curious how you would find a demo with negative reviews. All right, anyway, let's get this. So this is the dog spirit. We're going to get this for here. This floating text is going to say woof or bark. What do we prefer for this? I think woof. I think with an exclamation mark. Filter gets cleared. Saw that a few times. It's got to be something short. So yeah, woof. Okay, and then in Power Spirit, let's get the floating text that we have. Here it is. And we'll color this red. I guess while we're at it, let's just take this and put this in Empower Spirit. Actually, all of this. Stat computations. This is the base bonus is just going to be power increase. And then the total bonus is going to be that. Cool. All right, let's try this out. I have no idea if I coded it or not. I wasn't paying attention to all the pieces. I coded something. Might be erroneous. All right, so do we have it? Dog Spirit. Summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally for 3 seconds every 2.5 seconds. Okay, so we just don't put a point in this at all. Oh, it's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to do anything because I did not code it. There, now it's going to do something. I knew I forgot something. Okay, but still, if we don't put a point at all, it should not summon a dog. It should just summon a snake. Yeah. But if I put a point in that ability, we'll summon a dog that will increase my power by 10%. So there's the dog spirit. And it uses woof on this thing, which is kind of bad. I want to use it on the snake. Yeah, so the snake has been empowered and woofed. And it ended up doing 11 damage. I think it's a little bit distracting to see that show up so much. Hey, Thomas. Also, hi, Ancient Row. So yeah, the ability's working. Just happens very frequently. The other thing I kind of want to do is summon zombie has something that makes the cooldown lower. Where is that? Initialize. Here it is. Force set cooldown. Start a battle with this ability almost ready, so you don't have to wait long for your first zombie. Yeah, I kind of want to have... I kind of want to have this for the dog ability too. Although maybe we want this for like everyone's abilities. Start a battle with this ability almost ready, so you don't have to wait long. So it's cooldown -1. That means after 1 second, it's going to use this. So now I guess we could make the cooldown of this be every 4 seconds. And it could last for 5 seconds. But then we need to, what was that? 4 divided by 2.5. We need to multiply everything by 1.6 now. So times 1.6. Ugh. It's not that was hard multiplication to do, as I was just trying to save myself some time. It didn't really save some time. All right. Let's see this Professor Woofington. It didn't work. That's weird. Why didn't that work? Is initialize not called on this? Huh. That is strange. Try that again. It should get hit immediately. It's not. So initialize is never called on this thing. Because it's not a direct ability? What should be calling this? Initialize all the abilities here. Oh, I know why. Oh, God. It's because the dog doesn't exist at the beginning of the battle. All right, well, let's write this down. So problem, the dog doesn't exist at the beginning of battle. So initialize isn't called on it. Option 1 would be don't use initialize and just keep track of what the cooldown should be on the first time it's used. Option 2 would be get initialize, or like make it so that initialize is called. We could track summons. We could run this on summons. It's only supposed to be at the beginning of battle. Because this is called here, which is before we initialize effects. What summons the thing? Initialize does. But then the entity won't even be added until the next frame. I guess we could just force call it, right? Yeah, we could. But how? We just call this? That's pretty easy. Okay, that's not so bad. All right, let's do that. Abilities, component. I can't type. All right, easy. We just need the battle system now, which I never put in here. Battle, is it first or second? Yeah, it's first. Battle system, battle system. That only matters because I want it to be consistent. So now we passed this in, and then same thing over here. Let me guess. We don't have it here? No, we do. We otherwise won't initialize abilities for these summons because the summons aren't added on the same frame that the battle starts. And then this should have a function saying that this is only called, this will not be invoked for summons at the beginning of battle because they technically aren't added to the battle until after a frame. Yeah. By the way, it's super cool to transpose characters. So Command T by default just swaps two characters. So AB becomes BA. But every once in a while, you type something that's off by just one transposition. And you could technically use this to type out like anything. Like I could swap the M over to there. So I could basically like transpose my name back to what it's supposed to be. But it's a fun shortcut to use. Well, that's the fun of programming, problem solving. It's thinking things are hopeless, then realizing that they're hopeless, then realizing that you were wrong about them being hopeless, and then coding stuff. All right, so now the dog spirit should start with almost immediate woofage. Yeah, so this is getting called. So that means that after 1 second, give me a sec. There we go. It woofs. Nice. It's a little bit hard to tell that was 1 second because of the very, very long delay in between due to the breakpoint, but we can see it here pretty clearly. Yeah, battle starts. Okay. The dog spirit's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Because it can buff the spirit caller, which is pretty much like whiffing. I mean, not entirely, but it pretty much is. And I wonder if it just shouldn't target the spirit caller because it doesn't make sense unless the spirit caller is the only target. I think I'm gonna make it do that because otherwise I think this is pretty shoddy. Yeah, Pantune. Wish I could get past the it's hopeless part when I'm programming. You know, truly, I have realized that there is this cycle whenever I've been working on any big project. So here's time and here's my general hope level. And it's a sine wave. I am always at this point like, oh my God, this project's going to work. It's finally going to do it. And then something happens. And when I'm in one of these troughs here, it's like, oh, there's some technical issue. Oh, shaders broke for everything. We've got some, I don't know, game design problem. But pretty much no matter what, there's always something that makes my hope go up again. And after this happening for years, so let's say that this is like year 1 and this is year 15 or something like that. It took me an incredibly long time to realize that if you are here, remember that you will eventually get to be here. Let that thought carry you through whatever the dark times are when it comes to programming projects. Because it's not like we're talking about health here. I don't that could change for people, but with almost any programming project, you will get back up to normal at some point, or you'll can the project. So, yeah, whenever things look like they're pretty daunting, just keep your grit about you. You ready, Seth? You tropical banana man? You speak a new language as the game evolves further. The woofage. Yeah. What's it gonna do? Make this thing not target the spear caller if it can help it. So, oh, this isn't even correct. This always targets the same thing. Is get allies randomized at all? Get targets. Oh, we shuffle this. Well, well, well. But we don't shuffle this. I should start over and do it better with the knowledge I have now. I think that particular thing happens when you feel like you're learning a lot as you're going. So I'd say more toward the junior side of my career is when I felt that way. The troughs still happen even in the more senior side of my career, but now they happen as a result of just something else. Like the last trough that happened was during Next Fest when I was like, oh man, I didn't get as many wish lists as I thought. Should we just quit? So it wasn't even like, let's restart the project. It was just like, maybe I move on. Maybe this is a waste of time. And it's hard getting out of that thought process. It did only take like 2 or 3 days, which wasn't too bad. And yeah, now I'm feeling good. Rewriting in Rust, rewriting in lolcat. All right, so this is wrong to begin with. I want to ideally, okay, I want to get the allies that are not the spirit caller. And I guess if we can't find anyone else, then we No. I just don't want to get the spirit caller. I'll just say this can't work on the spirit caller. Dot where ally is not equal to the entity. Dot sample 1. We need to do 2 lists for that to work. Sample 1. Why is that not working? Because we don't have the extension. Then first your default. I mean, that could just be 0 at that point. All right, there. So now it cannot target the spirit caller. And maybe we should write that for the dog spirit itself. So it's a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally, and then just /n/n. This cannot target the spirit caller name. Yeah. Now we add that in. No color. And spirit caller name. This is adventurer, all adventurers. Dot get spirit caller display name. Yep, there. I'll get more wish lists for the correct programming language. Actually, it's probably a good thing that it doesn't really matter too much how a game was made. It just matters how much fun the game is for people. Okay, so here's what we have. Summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally for 5 seconds every 4 seconds. All right, that's dumb phrasing, but this is fine. This cannot target the spirit caller. And now let's make sure that's actually working. So if I were to start a battle with this thing and no other adventurers, it should only ever buff the snake. And it immediately failed. In fact, why is that happening? Let's put a breakpoint here. And it should get hit. There we go. So we get allies of the entity. And there are 2. And the first one is the spirit caller. Yeah. So if we get this 0, ECS.getComponent is... Oh, whoops. Yeah, I know what I did wrong. My bad. Yeah, I know what I did wrong. The is summon component is on this entity. So knowing who its summoner is, summoner equals this. Yeah. And that's guaranteed to exist. So we want to get the one where the summoner is not equal to the enemy. And then we're done. Why is the snake woofing? The snake is being woofed at. Some people have strong opinions, but I don't think it's enough to dictate that a game will be played or won't be played based on what it was made in. Oh, I didn't even make the dog. Ugh. Dogless battle. I still didn't. I didn't have a skill point. I just clicked the skill without realizing I didn't have skill points. It's still messing up. Is it only ever using it on the spirit caller now? I bet I did it backwards. No, it's doing it on both. How could I have messed this up? The summoner. Maybe this is not set correctly. Let's take a look. Summoner should be the spirit caller. Yeah, it is. All right, so get the allies of this entity where the ally is not equal to the summoner. What is this doing wrong? 2. What? I'm confused. Summoner equals this 0. False. False. Okay. Yeah. How is that possible? Because this is the summoner, right? Oh, maybe it's like adventurer versus. Wait, no, this is the summoner. What am I talking about? Yeah, this is the spirit caller. So what is your hash code? 5119. And what is the summoner? 5105. How are these different? That's like super, super not good. What's going on? Maybe we add it with the adventurer? Battle system? It's the battler. Node summoner. I probably messed this up somehow. Source. Maybe I only messed it up for the dog and the fairy. Summoned by enemy ID takes in the summoner as the first thing. The first thing passed in is the source. Source is what we're initializing this for, which is the spirit caller. It knows it's the spirit caller. I guess that's not the problem. Maybe we're calling initializer the wrong thing? Entity. Huh. No, huh. Weird. Shouldn't the comparison be against ally? Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Thank you. All right, where is that? Yeah, my bad. That was, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Well, the important thing is that we got the answer. I had to buy 3, take 5. How could you say no to that? That's not getting tricked, as long as you got the deal. A trick would be if they, every once in a while they have sales, but you have to reach a certain threshold first for you to get that sale. I feel like that's a trick. I realize you're making a joke and I'm taking it literally. Okay, so now it's only whooping at the snake. Nice. Okay, so we should be able to also woof at an adventurer. So let's go put the rogue in. Now there's a 50% chance that this happens, so it might not happen all the time. Yeah, there it is. Cool. I don't need 5 pints of ice cream. But you do. You do. Yeah, thank you, Granny Sith. That is a very helpful thing you just did. All right, I think we're done with that. Summon the dog spirit that'll... Oh, right, we didn't fix the phrasing. Power of a single ally. So what does it say? Summon a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally for 5 seconds. Then we could just say the cooldown in parentheses. What do we do for these other ones? Camel Soup, thanks for the resub. Yeah, the spirits look great. Happy 7 months. Summons a fairy spirit that will heal a single ally every that long. And then what does the dog one say? Or the snake one? Summons a snake spirit that will bite a single target for damage every so often. And this says summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally every ability cooldown. We could just put the duration in the table even though it doesn't change. Or just say this effect lasts for duration. Yeah, let's just add another sentence. Buffs an ally. Power of a single ally. I think I'd rather say raise the power, because buff could mean different things, and the cat one's going to do something different too. Hey, Denology. Yeah, this is good though. All right, let's look at the phrasing of this and see if this looks good. I know I'm covering it a little bit with my camera, so let's do this. Summons a dog spirit that will raise the power of a single ally every 4 seconds. This effect lasts for 5 seconds. This cannot target the spirit caller. Okay, yeah, looks good. I think that's it for that one. So now we just need to do the same thing with the cat spirit. Yeah. I already coded this, so I'm going to check this in on its own, but we're going to need stat computations as well. Okay, so how do we write this down? Have empower spirit take... I guess I'll just say change empower spirit formula. I realize that the power of the spirit caller themselves isn't really taken into account. So now it is and will improve the effect of empower spirit. Sure. Name the cat spirit Abby. Do we even have enough pixels to make it look like a calico cat? Where's the spirit thing? I guess I can Command Z this. I guess we would. Although they should aesthetically look like this, but it would be kind of cool to have a skin that turns her into my cat. Okay, this has been a little bit longer of a stream than I wanted it to be. I want to get the cat spirit done too. And then I think we'll probably call it. And then I'll probably take another like 30 minutes. This all looks good. Yeah, this looks good. This can be checked in on its own. Add clarifying comment. Cool. Let's go check in all of this. Implement spirit dog ability. I also now initialize abilities for the spirit callers summons at the beginning of the battle. This didn't have an impact on the fairy or the... This won't work. The snake is not affected by this. Summon spirit needs to... Oh, no, it is. It's right there. Okay, never mind. This didn't have an impact on the fairy or the snake, but it does on the dog since we lower the wolf cooldown. It's not called the wolf. We lower its abilities cooldown at the beginning of battle. Yep. Okay, let's get this cat thing working now. So dog spirit is done. Cat spirit is up next. Increase the dodge chance of allies. So let's just copy dog spirit over to cat spirit. Oh wait, we already have cat spirit. What am I doing? About to mess everything up. All right, so copy paste all of this over to here. This is dodge header. Dodge bonus. Description. Summons a cat spirit that will raise the dodge chance of a single ally every so often. This effect lasts for so long. This cannot target the spirit caller. It's not even true. So this targeting the Spirit Caller actually makes sense. The power one targeting the Spirit Caller didn't make sense. So now we get all of this stuff over here. We do not need the note color. We don't need the Spirit Caller name. We do need this, but now we're going to need a new ability. So ability ID. We're going to call this Spirit Cat Increase Dodge. And then go to increase power and save this, which we then rename. Hey, Goose. All right, so base cooldown of this, I don't know. But let's make it 3.8. Let's make this last for 4.5 seconds. I guess that means it's always going to be on. I don't actually kind of want it to always be on. I want it to be on for, let's say... No, you know what? Let's have it last for exactly as long as the cooldown is. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need the summoner now. We can just get any ally that is not a summon, I guess. How do we do that? We look at heal. Heal did that. Yeah, this. And we do that. Okay, then we get the actual target that we want, which presumably we also do from here. Yep. Except for over here, we are going to sample this. Target equals possible targets dot sample 1. All right, dog spirit level. This is going to be cat spirit level, which means this needs to be... This needs to be changed. So we have power bonus. We're going to need this. Power bonus dot count is compared to summon. Get a list over here. Rename this to dodge bonus. Figure out what this is supposed to be. So what's a good dodge amount? The archer has an ability that makes him go up by, I think, 15% per level. So would we ever want this to get to like 45%? Seems like an awful lot. And it's basically turning this character into a tank. But if it's smaller than 15%, I'm worried you won't really notice. So yeah, let's start with 15%. This is probably a mistake. Yeah, this is probably a mistake. All right, no, I don't like this. I think this is too powerful. Let's lower it. 20 and 30. Yeah, there. All right, rest of that looks good. This is get dodge header. Dodge bonus, that's fine. Duration now comes from spirit cat increase dodge. All right, there's that. Now we go modify summon spirits to make it summon the cat. Then we add in the cat enemy ID. It's not really an enemy. And then add in their data. So replace that, replace that. Good. And then we just had to fix this stuff. This is not percent power over base, although I guess the dodge chance you get is going to have to do this. So base bonus is going to be cat spirit dot dodge bonus, cat spirit level. Total bonus is going to be that. Make a dodge buff. DB. How do you make a dodge buff? Is there a create or something? I don't remember how you do this. Hey, George, welcome in. So source entity is, affected entity is going to be the target. Source entity is going to be the cat. Percent increase is going to be the total bonus. Duration is going to be duration. Then add this in and say meow. Now, I feel like only the dog should have an exclamation mark there. This is going to be renamed to Spirit Cat Increase Dodge. And starting with it a little bit off cooldown, I think we can do a -2. In fact, we should probably plug this in for every single ability. Have a cooldown and then like a starting cooldown. That way we don't even need to do this. And by default, every ability could be set to its starting cooldown or full cooldown. Cat bias is real in the stream. Oh yeah, I've said this before, but I am very much a cat person. Like, if you could say how much of a cat person you are on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm not like bonkers about it, but I'm probably like a 90. And if you were to say how much of a dog person I am, I'm probably like a 10. I'm not into dogs. Same. Also, our cat is very dog-like in some ways, so I feel like it's the best of both worlds. Like she is so happy to see us alive in the morning. She like rubs her face all over us. Not a pet person, that's totally fine. If you are a pet person, you have to like cats though. Okay, let's try this. Again, I probably broke something here. I'd need to look at it to see. Okay, so if we just start a battle, we should only have the snake. Yep. But if we get the cat ability, we'll now start with that. And the cat can't target summons. So it should only affect the spirit caller. Yeah, so every once in a while we should see a dodge show up here, but it's only a 10% chance. I guess let's make it better. Let's make it a 30% chance so we probably see it. And let's speed this up a little bit. So we took damage. We took damage. Should eventually show that we've dodged it. It's possible this isn't working. But it's also possible that a 30% chance just isn't enough for us to see this happening. Oh, maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. Maybe dodge shows up as miss on the enemy. I don't actually know what happens when you dodge. But it doesn't look like it's doing anything. Let's just increase the amount that it will make it dodge by. The duration is as long as the cooldown, so it should be always on. Let's make the dodge percent 130%. So now if we get level 3 of that, it will make us always dodge. And if that isn't working, then we know there's a problem. So we do that and that. And then create the instance. Okay, there's a problem. What did I do? So we make a dodge buff. Affected entity is the target. And we add it to the target. And its percent increases this total bonus. Maybe this is wrong. Put a breakpoint there. Total bonus is 0. Well, that's the problem. Base bonus is 0. What? Cat spirit level 0? Oh, it's because I wrote out dog spirit. Well, let's search this file for dog to make sure that doesn't show up again. Yeah, that was an easy bug to fix. So yeah, now it should dodge every single time. Let's go test it out. Cat. Yep, there it is. Dodge. Should happen every time. Yeah, so this will never take damage now. But if we lower this by 1 level, then start a new battle. Now it's only 20% of the time. So we took damage, we dodged once, we took damage, dodged once, took damage, took damage. Yeah, so I think that was like 2 out of 8. It was a quarter of the time, which is pretty close to a fifth. Looks good. How's the tooltip look? Summons a cat spirit that will raise the dodge chance of a single ally every 3.8 seconds. This effect lasts for 3.8 seconds. Yeah, looks good. Let's fix that extra buff that we gave this. And now let's try all of the spirits together. In fact, maybe the dog should prefer adventurers. Or maybe the dog shouldn't buff the cat either. Alright, so how do we do this? We got to get points in all of these things. Like I said, it's a party in a can. You get this one adventurer, and they've got actually 4 spirits around them. My character's not even taking damage, are they? Because they have dodge and heal? Yeah, they're basically not taking damage. Can they beat the volcano on their own? Again, this doesn't really indicate anything because I've given them 12 skill points when they're level 1, which should not happen. I don't think they're going to win, but it's probably going to be close. No, they will. Yeah, they're going to win. Wow. There's a lot going on for one character. Yeah, now they're going to stay at full life probably the rest of the battle. Close enough to it. Neat. Throwing some other adventurers in there. You got yourself a stew. You could probably even fight here and with level 1 adventurers. No, actually, we probably couldn't. They're probably going to die. If the spirit caller dies, the whole battle falls apart, I think. But they're pretty close to winning. Yeah. Wow, nobody died. How far can we push this? Just make the character that's super broken. And no one's dying yet. They probably will pretty soon. My goodness. Wow. All right, let's speed this up. Do I win or lose? Oh, Spirit Caller's dead. Now all of these are targetable. And they get killed immediately. And then these get killed immediately. Although we might still win this. And these characters are level 1. They're not doing so hot. Oh my god, they barely won. 3.1% health remaining. Woof, meow, love it. Can't believe that. Yeah, Spirit Caller might be a little bit broken. But yeah, this is cool. Now that we have this many adventurers, is this all of them? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Yeah. Now that we have this many adventurers, the party combinations are pretty interesting. And I kind of wonder what happens if we put in, like, the golem with a whole bunch of abilities. I just want to try this and see what happens. I'm going to give them every ability. I'm going to put the mushroom in, again, with every ability. You're not supposed to be able to do this. So let's send just those 3 in. This, and this to... Let's go here again. I'm going to turn on the sounds too, although I don't have the sound set up correctly. Did something mess up there? No. It looked like it lagged for a second. They're just not even taking damage, really. Oh, the mushroom died. But it's gonna come back to life. My goodness. It's super cool, though. Alright, let's see if they can handle the next place. The golem is healing so much, and they're always getting targeted. Oh, they can turn invincible. That's right. I forgot about that. That might be too powerful. This is so cool, though. Yeah, they're just... This combination of adventurers is too strong. Although I guess to really properly compare, we'd have to put in other damage dealers and see how they fare. And you can't ever get this many skill points. So what I've done is cheating. But yeah, they're winning. Golem just can't be killed. Nuts. Nuts. Okay, let's try the Inferno. They better die here. I'll speed it up some more. So their invulnerability wore off. Now the golem should probably just be dying. Yep, everyone's dead. Yeah. Okay, that's what should happen. I wonder how many levels it would take for them to not do that. Like we raise the golem up to level 5, let's say. Now they reduce damage taken by 6%. And they have more life. And more power to heal, I guess. Is that it? That's what it took? Now we're winning the battle? Not quite. I think it's gonna be over pretty soon. Well, they're killing enemies, so now it's the next wave. They're gonna die. How is this happening? How is the golem stupidly powerful? They're doing almost no damage. Oh, what's making the golem not die? What is going on here? Okay, I'll speed this up some more. They won. Yeah, this is not balanced at all. Took 3 minutes. Is this the type of game you would normally enjoy playing? I think this is a silly way of looking at things, just to be clear. That build things you'd use yourself if this is the type of game you'd normally enjoy playing. Like, I don't think this is how it works in the business world necessarily. I don't think it's how it should work in the gaming world. Like, I could make a horror game that would be good, but I don't play horror games. With that said, I like this game. I have fun playing it. But I don't think that should factor into it. Very woofy. Yeah, so what is going on with the golem that's just making them basically invincible? Chunk of gravel, not be consumed. Consuming your last chunk, you're invulnerable. Yeah, it's just the invulnerability thing. Yeah. Well, that's... We have a problem here. I don't think these characters should be able to do what they just did with like maxed out skills and not really levels. Although the levels give you the skills. So what did we do? I tested on Wednesday by having Mushy, Spirit Caller, and Golem in a battle. All of them had every skill, which is cheating, but only the Golem was beyond level 1. What level did I make it? Level 5? I beat the Inferno in 3 minutes. And that wasn't even with all the adventures you could have in a battle. If I added like literally any other battler, all the other battlers would probably die. Or would they? What if we put the cleric into that battle too? I'll probably do almost nothing. Let's give the cleric Shield of Unity. So now all they're going to do is heal a tiny bit. But if they already won the battle before, they're going to win the battle now too. Well, I guess a lot of their healing is going to go toward the mushroom because they always target the thing with the lowest life. Get all the sound effects working with the Spirit Caller. Oh, nope, Spirit Caller's dead. The whole battle falls apart. Or does it? Yeah, no, it does. How'd you test this yesterday? Yes, I meant Thursday. How's it going, Banana? make a sound effect for the cat dodge and the dog. They should be a meow and a woof. It's gonna be great. We gotta make those pretty quiet though, because those will get annoying pretty fast. Currently doing freelance contracting work for Friend's startup that's about to raise a Series A. Nice, cool, helping out a friend, hopefully making some money in the process. All right. If they're annoying, we could make them rare chances to play, or maybe only the first time in a battle. Matching my salaries hourly as a contracting rate. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, sounds good. Probably exciting to work on that too. Do something a little bit out of the norm. Okay, yeah, I think this is all looking good. I'm gonna look over this one more time because I did this pretty quickly. But I didn't see anything unusual with how the game was playing out. So the dodge bonus may be too powerful. I've got to test this out with actual adventurers. Like the Spirit Caller's level 1. They do not have all these skill points. What should have happened is we'd be, let's say, level 8. We'd have access to these, and we'd only have 4 skill points. So like we could put a point. Oh, that's got the wrong name. Yeah, improved snake spirit. Where is that? Here. Okay, let's check this in. So implement cat spirit ability. And then fix display name of improved snake spirit. And then push all of that. Mark that as done. Open up the journal. Sweet gig, except I voluntarily wanted to migrate to NX plus Next plus React all at the same time. It's been a nightmare. NX, is this some like state management thing? Efficiently manage code bases at any scale. Huh. Interesting. What was I just doing? Oh yeah, filling out the journal. Skeleseller. So coded. What did we do today? Another 4 abilities. Only 3 remain. All right, the goal was to get all the adventures done by the end of this week. And we have 3 abilities left, and I don't think they're very hard. That shouldn't be bad, I hope. Dual targeting. X% chance to target 2 things with Empower Spirit. This just isn't interesting anymore, is it? I don't think it is. Oh, you know what Empower Spirit should maybe do? Maybe it should make it so that empowered spirits target 2 things. I'm going to write that down. Maybe this should make it a chance for an empowered spirit to target 2 things. Improved it, make it more potent or last for longer. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so I don't think these 3 are going to take a very long time. So unless I'm sick or something, which by the way, if I'm sick, I don't really care what my deadlines were. I think it's okay to take time off of work if you're not feeling well. So I guess what's the case where this wouldn't get done tomorrow? Yeah, pretty much if I'm feeling incredibly lazy or something. I don't see that happening. Now, that said, we do have a bunch of other tasks here and balancing and whatever else. So that's stuff we're going to probably spend the bulk of tomorrow on. Did we get that working? Snake Spirit, 53 damage. What happens if I click this? Yeah, that goes up. So yeah, that's working. Needs to update this. That's done. This is going to take some time. Yeah, there's a lot of like cleanup stuff. I think that's what this is going to be about. Oh, that's why I thought it was Wednesday, because this is still under the Wednesday section. sounds, figure this out, reach out to new YouTubers. No one's streaming the game, right? No one's probably ever going to be streaming the game. No. Drat. If someone were, I could raid them. Hint, hint. If anyone ever wants to stream Skeleseller and it coincides with me ending my stream, I would happily raid. But since no one is, let's go find someone else to raid. Yeah, this was a relatively quick stream. It was 2 hours, 36 minutes. I took no breaks. So it was just solid working. And we got 4 abilities done. So I'm very happy with today. I'm going to go do some work off stream. Which I guess nothing's stopping me from doing it on stream. But I'll still ease into streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's raid someone new again. Especially because it's at a slightly unusual time of day. By the way, if I should share these links, if anyone wants to use those links, don't feel pressure to. But you can wishlist the game. All right, let's go by English. All right, so we're looking for people I'm not following, which means I haven't rated them before, who have low uptime, so like not 12 hours. And that's it pretty much. Like this isn't too bad. This is 2 hours and 30 minutes. But possibly they're going to get ready to end their stream pretty soon. But yeah, let's maybe raid them. Working on Mirror Throne. This person's at a lower uptime. Okay, we'll probably go with one of those 2 people, I think. Yeah, let's go with a person doing game dev. They're not really looking at pictures. Is Mirror Throne their own game? Auto battler on Steam. Okay, yeah, it sounds like it. All right, let's rate them. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a full day of streaming, I think. I've just been adding some extra time throughout the week. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day.